What's going on YouTube? So we are back finally after a year off of the ace pair chief scheme. We're going to take a look at a full scheme out of the ace pair chief formation. The first play we're looking at is under, and here's the 6 setups that we're going to use. Now in the gameplay footage that you see, you're not going to see me showing all of these setups, but I will talk about some stuff and we'll go over it to make sure that you guys are set up for the best possible success that you can have. Now, the best playbooks to use this scheme are Arizona and Pittsburgh. And the reason is because they have the play under and they also have the trail, which is coming up next. Now, a lot of you people that have followed me over the years, you know that Ace Pair Chief is basically my firstborn child. I mean, that's the first scheme that really I was known for. And a lot of the same stuff works as it did back in the day. So it's really hard to get creative out of the ace pair chief formation, which is why it's kind of been a while since I've done anything. I took a break off of it last year, but I'm going to do my best to show you guys what we can do this year. And the first play, as I said, is under. And it's real simple. But before we get into the simple setup, we're going to take a look at a really nice cover 2 beater. We're going to streak square, we're going to streak X as you see right here, and we're going to drag R1 and we're going to motion circle all the way over. Now unfortunately we are facing a D-line user, which means that there's no user over the middle of the field. So obviously that takes away, but I can't control who I'm playing and what they're doing. But as you can see, D-line users can still really break free. He creates his own block shed, but take a look at circle and how wide open he's going to get against cover 2. Now, that setup is not going to work just against cover 2. Circle is going to get wide open against many defenses, and I really like the setup a lot. Now, here's the high-low read between triangle and R1. Triangle is one of those routes that was really glitchy a few years ago. We could motion it out, or we could throw a nice little quick pass. This year, I want to go over it and let you guys know that triangle is very tricky. You have to throw it either very quick, so once he gets to the line of scrimmage, throw the ball. It's going to be a very quick process. Get into practice mode and just practice the timing, or you must wait until he sits down like you see here. If you try to throw it in between those times, it's going to sail and get intercepted. That's very valuable information. Now, when it comes to square and circle, it's simple. This is a cover 2. There's a hard flat covering square. As soon as we see that there's a hard flat covering square, we now know that the corner route is going to be open. Especially with triangle pulling down a zone there, that's really going to help. If they happen to put the zone that's covering triangle in another zone that's going to defend circle, or maybe they man up circle, then triangle is going to become the read. Let's just say it is like you see right here. A pass lead to the outside to circle is going to be what you're going to have to do in many cases, because we want to get the pass lead to the outside to avoid the safety. Here it's a little bit too late. If I was to throw it right here, just a regular pass to circle, a pass lead to the outside would probably take him out of bounds. But the reason I've paused this more so is to talk about the high-low between triangle and R1. Once you get to this point in the play and you've not thrown the ball yet, it really does become about triangle and R1. And as you can see, R1, while covered right now, is running open. And that's the read. You could throw to circle, but R1 is the read. So it's a really fantastic play. It's a very simple setup, at least the original setup. And as you see right here, I'm actually just going to go back really quickly. We're going to be motioning X over quite a bit. Now, we don't want to streak X and throw a high point pass, because he's going to run vertical with circle. And both of those routes running vertical, if you do a high point pass, the person that's defending circle is another player that's kind of in traffic. So if it's a tip drill, if you're playing mutt or whatever, that's just another player in the area that has the ability to intercept it. So if you're going to high point, do it on both sides of the field. Do it to R1 and do it to square or circle, but make sure they're separate. Make sure they're on opposite sides of the field. Don't have that route combination. don't have circle next to a high point when he's on a corner. Okay, so here we're motioning X over and putting him on a drag, and that's needed because he's either going to block or be on a drag on this play when we motion him over. We're going to motion him over to help in the run game. We're going to motion him over on other plays as you see the scheme go on. But if you're going to put him on any route in this particular play, you want to put him on an in route or a drag route, unless you want to block triangle. So let's take a look here and see. And it's just a nice, simple, just a simple drag. That's it. Just very, very simple. Nothing too fancy. So really, it's all about this read. This is your first read in the play almost always. It's square. And if he's open, you're taking it. And in this scenario, you see that it's a hard flat or it's man, right? As soon as you see that guy clamp down on square, it's man or a hard flat. But because he's facing square, I know right away that it's man. So now a pass lead to the outside of the circle is money, potentially a touchdown. So as you see right there, it's very, very simple. This is one of the great things about ace pair chief. And this is one of the great things about all type formations throughout the years, is the ability to recognize man and zone at like right away, because everything's in tight and they're going to chase. If they chase, it's man, and if they don't, then it's zone. And especially against cover two, when cover two is so popular, tight formations are huge. It's huge. So the fact that we have dual tight ends is fantastic, because just like in the jumbo heavy, when we block the outside tight end, R1, against like nickel blitzes, etc., it's going to pick it up. The outside guy, not the inside guy. So here, if they were running nickel blitz from the right, we would want to block R1. Then we also have the ability, though, is to motion X over and block on the other side if we want to. That's going to be something that I get to in another point. Also in the jumbo heavy formation, I showed you the play tight end corners where we put square and R1 on flat routes, and then we low past a circle. Now, as I'm actually doing this video just before we put it out, I just finished watching the Madden Challenge, and as you see, that's becoming very, very popular. That whole concept that I showed in the jumbo heavy, pass leading down using the low pass to circle, just like in the jumbo heavy I talked about against cover two. That's a glitchy setup. Now, we don't want to have out routes by square. That would create a bench concept. Bench concept is fine, but flat route, 10 times better. 10 times better, just like in the jumbo heavy. This is essentially doing the same thing that we were doing out of jumbo heavy, except we've got two wide receivers. They're lined up outside just a little bit more. That's it. So you can low pass those all day long, like you saw in the jumbo heavy scheme that we created a long time ago, and now it's being very popular and it's winning people a ton of games in the Madden Challenge. So let's continue here. The first read, again, as always, square. We block the tight end for a little bit of blocking, and then we throw that quick pass to triangle. Remember, it's got to be quick, or he's got to sit down. Now, this is an example here of a high-low read. He bites down on triangle, and it ends up being man defense. So we could throw to circle, or we could throw to R1. He clamped down on triangle, so R1 is going to be open now. He could have potentially lurked that with a tall guy, with, I don't know if he was using Anthony Barr there. Obviously, he was a little step behind. He could have usured it, but even still, we got to live and die by that high-low read. Now, this setup here, again, with square and X. I've done high point passing all year long. We've talked about it. I've showed you guys. I'm not really going to show many examples of high point passing. We all know it's a streak, and if he's open, you high point it. By motioning circle over, it's a great cover two beater, but we've also got the ability to do the high point pass. So take it if it's available. Now again, right here, see how easy that is? Look at the space. Look at the space on the left side of the screen. This is why I've always loved Ace Pair Chief. They have to put all their attention over on the left side. all of their attention. And the fact that we have tight ends for high point passing, especially this year, they can't go over and manually cover that area because they got to worry about dual tight ends on the right hand side, one of them potentially being on a high point pass. Or if we motion X over, then we've got the high point pass ability there, or to the other side on R1. So we just do a rack catch right here. It's a quick pass. This is why I like the flat. And we take it and we're gone. We're gone for like a good 15 yards. A good 15 yards. It's just easy. It's easy. And the fact that we're going to show a lot of other stuff mixed in with this, it's just fantastic. It really, really is. And it gives you the ability to block a lot of the heat in this game. And again here, look at the high-low, right? He bites down on triangle. If he bites on R1, then we'll just sit there and we'll just take triangle. No problem. Easy. But he bites down on triangle, so we pass lead to the inside, away from the safety, okay? Pass leading is very, very important in a lot of those scenarios. You got to pass lead away from the safety, underneath the safety, to make sure that he's not able to make a play on the ball. There he takes R1, and triangle, unfortunately, is covered. So, I mean, just look at this guy. He's running wide open. It's completely wide open. So this is the first play, and here again is the high point pass. This is what I'm talking about. We could potentially take X. We could take that high point pass. We could, because he's usering that guy. But if he wasn't using that guy, even still, see how there's going to be 3 defenders in the area? If I high point that to X, we've got the user, and then the corner that's playing really deep that's next to circle on the outside, and then the safety, all there for tip drill. Okay, so that's not necessarily going to be the best idea. This is where you want to throw to triangle as well, right when he gets to the line of scrimmage. And see, it's going to be very, very hard to defend. We can also block triangle, put X on the drag route, really, really simple. Then we could pass lead to the outside to circle, or because he's covering the drag, we can take R1. Very simple setup. All this might seem very, very easy. It's because it is. And a lot of the stuff, I can't wait to show you guys the other stuff. I really, really enjoy this scheme a lot. Now, Arizona Cardinals and Pittsburgh Steelers are the best playbooks to use this out of. Okay, so if you run a default playbook, if you play Mutt, those are the 2. I'm also going to go over the audibles and everything else for those of you that run a custom scheme. Here, we're going to take a look at blocking. Now, he's got everybody on the line of scrimmage. He's been blitzing me, right, throughout the drive. So why take a chance? The route combination here is simple. I mean, look at the defenders that he's got on the far left. He's going to send a lot of pressure, and why not block? Protect yourself, right? So don't forget about this option. And R1 is going to do a fantastic job of blocking that outside guy if he is in fact blitzing. So let's take a look. Look at 87. Look at the pickup. Just like in jumbo heavy. That's why dual tight end formations and formations like jumbo heavy, you come out in it and you're already set up. You can flip it back and forth depending on where the corner blitz is coming from because of the dual tight end. Well, basically this is half jumbo heavy, right? It's half jumbo heavy, half tight flex. That's really what this is. Ace Pair Chief has been a fantastic formation for a lot of years, and the only reason I haven't shown it is because a lot of the same stuff does work. It really, really does. And here, 87 picks up that guy, no problem. Here he only sends 5 guys, but we've got absolutely nothing to worry about because, take a look, circle gets wide open. I love it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the first video. See how we stay patient here. It's a high-low read between R1 and triangle. We can take square sitting down if we want, or we can take triangle underneath. I don't know. I forget who I take, but either one of those, and take a look at Bell. Picks up a solid 13 yards. So again, as I said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I know people have been asking me for Ace Pair Chief for a long time because way back in Madden 12 was the very first year that Ace Pair Chief was in the game, and I did a scheme. Basically, man, I missed that scheme. A lot of quick little motions. It was so glitchy. It was so glitchy, so fun to run. Then I did it in Madden 13. Then I did it in Madden 25. You know, Madden 15. Took a year off for 16 because it really wasn't very good. And it's back to being good finally. There's just a lot of different things that you can do with it, even though some of the stuff is similar. But I've tried to do my best job of creating a lot of different setups this year. That's really what took me so long. Like this particular setup here. This particular setup right here is very unique, but with the meta of the game being a lot of cover 2, this is a fantastic setup. Unfortunately, again, D-line user, we can hit that drag for a few yards, or if we wait, we can hit circle. This circle route against cover 2 is dynamite. Don't forget about the high point passes to keep your opponent honest. Unfortunately, we don't have a play showing a user defender against this route, but trust me, the route combination is fantastic, especially when you take everything else into consideration. We're only at play number 1. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more Ace Pair Chief just in the next couple days. Take a look at circle, cover 2, wide open.